Last episode, I finally linked up the backside of the dockyard to the main storage by building a 50s style garage, which apparently looks like a garage called the Red Rocket in Fallout, but that wasn't intentional, I've never actually played it. Today I build my final factory in this district, for now at least, in which we're going to turn this into this. And before we get started, I do just want to say a huge thank you to all of you still watching this series, 45 episodes in. I'm glad you're enjoying this world as much as I am, and the support has absolutely blown me away. But the good news is we're not done yet. I've still got some big plans for other parts of this world and other districts we're going to be creating, as well as a bit of a twist to the series, which will start to reveal itself in the coming weeks. So if you want to catch that, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, as not only is that the best way to support the channel, it also makes sure that you never miss a thing. Diamonds. I need them. Lots of them. And what I need them for is diamond storage upgrades. And before you say it, I'm fully aware that the emerald storage upgrades are actually better, but as I said last episode, emeralds are harder to get hold of, and I have absolutely zero intention of building a raid farm. I mean, just ask Foxy, he had a terrible time in his last episode trying to make emeralds, so we're going to stick with simplicity and go for diamonds. But the first thing we're going to need is a factory diagram, so let's grab a few bits and head back to the docks. So this should be quite a straightforward factory. The first thing we're going to do is grow some trees, and then we're going to chop those down, we're going to cook them, and we're going to get ourselves some charcoal. We're then going to compress the charcoal, 4 pieces is going to give us 1 piece of coal, and then we're going to compress 9 pieces of coal into a coal block. We're then going to take that coal block, we're going to combine it with some lava, and then that is going to give us diamonds. And that's the entire thing. So a fairly straightforward process, but we're going to need a reasonable amount of space because we do need to put a small tree farm in here. And I know we already have a massive tree farm and we could just import logs from there, but to reduce server lag, I don't leave that farm running, and I don't really want this farm to run out. So I think it makes more sense just to have its own very small independent tree farm. That way we can always have diamonds on the go without having to lag out the server. Because our main tree farm is massive and it does take a bit of a toll. So we have a plan, we have a location. I guess I should maybe start with the foundation. Oh, and as a side note, I have had a few people asking why the grass over here looks very, very white, and that's because this area here is a different biome to this. This is actually dark forest, where all the grass is lush and lovely, and this horrible grass here is actually coming from the Stony Shores biome, which we're kind of right on the edge of at this point. But anyway, that's not important. So what I want to do is get a foundation down in here. I want to make sure we've got a little area for sort of trucks to come in and turn around and so on as well, and that's what we're going to use this part here for, I think. So I should grab myself a whole bunch of stone and just plonk down a big square, I guess. And then we'll figure out a building of some kind. So I'm just over at main storage getting some resources together for this platform, and I've just remembered I did actually add another mod. And it's one that's going to make my life a little bit easier. I've been meaning to add it for a while, I kept forgetting, to be perfectly honest. But what I can now do is make this thing, which is called a builder's wand. And what this allows me to do is essentially just place blocks a lot quicker. I build a lot of platforms, I do a lot of terraforming, and I spend a lot of time placing those blocks. And not only that, it's boring and it doesn't make good content. So to speed up that process, this wand, what it'll actually do is, well, you can kind of see the pattern that it's creating on the top at the moment. If I switch to those in my offhand, if I was to right click, it would place a block in all of those highlighted places. But essentially I can create any shape I like, such as that, and then with the wand I can just extend that out and just make it bigger, and essentially it just allows me to place blocks much quicker. I've now got to remove all of those. But this means instead of spending absolutely loads of time just placing blocks, I can get a foundation down and crack on with the video much quicker. And the updated pack is now fully released on CurseForge as well, with the new mods we added last episode. So if you want the fun new toys, make sure you update. Now I suppose I better take all this down. Ugh. Job done, let's go build a foundation. And there we go, that took 20 seconds instead of 10 minutes. Wonderful. Let's just mess it up a little bit before we make a start. And quite often I get people asking why I don't use the trowel mod when I'm actually texturing and stuff like this, and it's because I like to have control. I don't like it all just random and scattered. I like to try and do it in patches and make it look a little bit more sort of realistic with how things would work, and the trowel mod just wouldn't let me do that. It's just a little bit too random for my liking. Alright, something like that should do the trick nicely. Now I just need to choose what to actually build the factory out of. And because part of it is actually going to be growing trees, I think we're going to try and make good use of some glass. Although how we're going to do that yet, I do not know. But for now, let's go pick a block palette over here at Beardstone Valley. First up, I think I'm going to use some of these industrial iron sheet blocks. I quite like the look of those. We're going to need a whole bunch of glass, but what do we want? Maybe this one here would work quite well, but we're going to need more, so let's convert all of this as well. In fact, maybe the white one would be a little bit better. It's a bit brighter, isn't it? The white might be a little bit too bright, though, so let's also get some light grey and some grey, and we'll just experiment once we're over there. For the main building, I want to use some Dean bricks primarily, but we're also going to take some limestone and a few varieties of diorite, and I'm hoping that this colour palette is going to work. But I don't see why it wouldn't. It's fairly similar to what we've already got down there. And I guess as the Viridian Shores train is here, we may as well get this back. Been a while since we've ridden the train. Oh, wasn't that lovely? Right, so, plans, things, stuff we need to do. We need to build a factory. And I've got a bit of an idea, so I'm just going to put down a floor layout, and we'll see how it's looking size-wise. So it doesn't look like much at the moment, but what I'm thinking is this bit here is going to be kind of like a greenhouse. It'll just be like a big glassy type dome type thing. I don't really know yet. We'll have a big tall bit here stuck on the front for some reason, and then we'll have the sort of main warehouse area is going to be inside this bricked area, and then we'll just have a small lean-to off to the side for a bit of detail. And this glass bit here is going to be sort of 1.5 stories tall, I think, whereas this bit here will be 1 story, and then we'll stick a limestone bit on top that I think I want to sort of overhang this bit here, maybe? Not entirely sure. We'll have to see how that comes together. But I think it makes sense to get these smaller parts of the building in first, because then we can sort of see what we're working with when it comes to the glass dome. Because that's going to be an interesting thing to try and put together. That's the easy bit done. I've got some rough building shapes in. I think that's going to work. I'm probably going to rip out this platform here, though, get some girders in for support over this side and so on. But we'll come back to that later. For now, I want to try and figure out this glass bit that I want to stick on the side for some reason. It's probably a terrible idea, but let's see how we get on. So I do want to have a look at the white and see how bright that is and compare that against the grey. That's actually a tough call, but I think I might go with the grey. I think I like the slightly grimier look. And because the borders seem to connect on this particular glass, I guess it also means I can't sort of just mix in some random white patches, but that's fine. So the bottom here, I just want to build up some basic walls. About that high should do it, I think. Let's just put another support beam across the top here. And then I'm going to try and create some sort of a dome on here. This is probably not going to go well, but let's see what we can do. So for a first attempt, I'd say that's not too bad. We can maybe sort of smoothen off some of these corners a little bit. So I've just swapped out a couple of bits, and that's made a huge difference. It's looking better, but I feel like it needs some kind of support on these corners here. I've got an idea. Let's grab some wood so that we can make some framed blocks, and then get some framed walls, which I think if we combine with these industrial iron blocks should work quite nicely, because sadly I can't actually put these sheet metal blocks into the framed blocks. As you can see, it just doesn't work, but these are a good second, I think. And they're going to work a bit better than girders because they're actually attaching to the glass here, and it looks like it's giving it a little bit more support than girders would. That feels a bit better. It's like it's supported now. But once we get all the detail in, we get some trees growing inside, we sort out the front, I think we can probably make that work. And as you can see, I've got a lot of work to do here on the outside, so that means it's time to put on some awesome music and do a little montage. See you in a bit. I think that should just about do it. That's looking pretty good. We've got lots of texture. I went really heavy on the sort of mossy corner here, but I really actually like how that looks. Although I have to say it definitely looks better from a distance. And we will still, of course, need to add some clutter and so on once we've got all the delivery stuff in. But for now, what we actually need to do is make a start on the farm itself. I think the first thing I want to do is get the tree farm in because, well, that's probably going to be the most difficult bit to do just because of space. And then after that, we should easily be able to make some diamonds over here. We only need a few small machines on this side. So I guess the first thing I should do is probably just carve out a little bit of space here where we can put some dirt, and that's where we'll grow the trees. I do want to keep it 3 blocks away from any of the edges though, because ideally I don't really want the leaves going through the glass. And in order to try and control growth, we're actually going to be sticking with birch saplings saplings because they generally only go up to 6 or 7 blocks tall and the leaves only ever go sort of 2 or 3 blocks out, and then we're not going to end up with giant trees and so on. It should be a lot easier to control. At least that's the hope. So I think that's where we're going to plant the trees, and then we're going to need a saw, and I think we'll just have a saw that sort of starts here and just sweeps across. That should work fine. So we'll dig a little trench at the sides. And I was actually about to put a gantry in there, but that's probably not a good idea because the gantries, they can't basically go through solid objects, unlike contraptions. And that means if the gantry goes that way and then a tree goes behind it, it's going to get stuck. Whereas if we use a contraption, it'll basically just go backwards and forwards, and yeah, that should work much better. But I don't have any rail on me by the looks of it. So I'm going to head back, I'm going to grab a few bits, and I think I want to use farmer's soil here, which essentially works just like dirt, but occasionally whatever's on there will get the effects of bone meal. I have no idea if it affects saplings or not, but it definitely works for crops. But there's no harm in trying it here too. So rich soil, that's what we want. And to get that, we just need some organic compost and basically just stick it outside by the looks of it. How do we make this? Okay, that's fairly easy. So we'll grab some zombie flesh, we'll grab some bones. Guess we're going to need a few more bones. Luckily, our mob farm's still well stocked. And the last thing we need is straw, but yeah, we really don't have much of that. There's not really a good way for us to get it either, because we're not actually farming rice currently, and we're not farming bamboo either. Oh, great. That means we're going to need to manually harvest this, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. Doing it manually is taking absolutely forever, so I'm taking matters into my own hand. There we go, this should do it. Much better, another 4 stacks in a matter of minutes. But now we should be able to make a whole bunch of this. And there we go, organic compost. Let's go stick this outside by the ocean. In fact, just down here looks like it'll do the job nicely. And it doesn't say how long it's going to take, but it's out in the sun. It's not adjacent to water, so that's probably not going to make any difference. And we don't have any activators either, but that's fine, just the sun should do it. Well, I went and got myself a tasty lunch while this was doing its thing, but it looks like it's ready, so let's just pick up all of this soil. And to be honest, even if it doesn't speed up the saplings, I quite like the look of the block anyway. So let's just get all of this in here. That is going to be our tree planting area. Now let's build up a big saw. And a planter as well, I guess, so we should probably take the deployers. Now, I think I want to keep this fairly simple, so maybe just get a girder in the back for supports. Stick a whole bunch of saws on the fronts. Don't need that one. And thinking about it, we're actually going to need deployers as well, so I don't think we're going to be able to have the girder there. And then we'll need a vault for storage. We'll stick a girder there for supports. In fact, let's make the vault a little bit longer, fix the girders, and then we're going to want a storage interface on there, and a receiving one can go right here. In fact, I am going to take that girder off because I think it's going to be handy to be able to have access. We can put a switch here just to be able to turn the thing on and off. But rail. We didn't actually get rail, which is what we said we were going to do, but we got distracted by farmland. So let's go make some rail, and then hopefully we can get this thing working. So we just need a bit of powered rail and maybe one of these for good measure. And we're also going to need a minecart, a cart assembler, and a couple of levers. And thinking about it, I should probably go get myself some birch saplings as well, so hopefully we've got a few over here in this machine. Apparently not, it's destroying our saplings a little too well. Not to worry, maybe we've got some over here. Oh yeah, look at that, plenty. So what I'm going to do is just make sure all these deployers will only take birch saplings. We'll put a piece of rail there, and then we're just going to put normal powered rail on the rest of it. And that means that when it gets powered, it will go that way and come back, and it will keep doing that until we depower just this one here, because this one, when it's powered, won't actually automatically power everything else as well. They're kind of independent of each other, which is good, because it means we can always leave that powered, and it's not going to affect that one. So let's get a cart assembler down. Make sure rotation is locked. We don't want this thing spinning all over the place. Let's get it all glued together. That should do it. Stick a minecart down, turn that into a contraption, which should get it all going. Yep, look at that, wonderful. Then we're going to put that in the back there. We're going to stick a lever on it. Then I'm going to steal the cart assembler and steal the redstone torch. Now, hopefully, we can just do that to turn it off and then turn it back on again. Wonderful. And if I just quickly plant all of the initial saplings down, when these grow, they'll basically just produce enough saplings to keep the machine running. I shouldn't need to preload it with anything. And look at that, our first tree's just grown already. Wow, that was quick. Off you go. Hopefully that will happen, and then it should replant. Yep, it's already replanted. Excellent stuff. We could do with a bit of proper lighting in here, though. So if I turn my brightness down to normal, I think we're pretty dark in here. Although, to be fair, it is daytime, so maybe not right now. Let's maybe just stick a couple of lights on the ceiling here. And for now, I'm just going to dump a couple of lights down here just to help the saplings grow, but we'll actually sort out something proper later on when we decorate the rest of the factory. For now, we've got some more farming to do. I don't mean farming, I mean processing, because this is just going to produce logs for us, so what we need to do, I guess, is sort those out, because we're also going to get sticks, and we're going to have additional saplings as well, which, to be honest, I'm probably just going to burn. But for now, we should at least make sure that we're storing things. So let's just do this. And if we do that, so the logs are going to go in there, and the other things, kind of want them to burn. So will they continue to go past that? Apparently not, but we can adjust this. So if we just move this to here, will that pick things up off the item drain that go past? I don't actually know. We could do a little test, I suppose. Maybe, if I can get something on there. Jeez. If I can get something on there the right way. No. No, it does not. Okay, fine. No worries. But if we do this, we can make a 4-drawer thing. So we can actually store different items in the same drawer. The problem is you can only store a quarter of the amount in each slot. So yeah, not quite as good. But I suppose we can put some upgrades on. It's not really a big problem. And ideally, what we actually want to be doing is burn. But this is only temporary anyway, because we're probably going to be sorting out all of these things pretty quickly because, well, we need to turn this into charcoal and this into ash. So for the next step, we need to cook these logs down into charcoal. And I think what we're going to do is just sort of have these on a belt. Then we'll stick a couple of fans at this side and we'll just put some lava in there and that should do the trick nicely. But I do need to sort out some power for up here. So let's maybe stick a gearbox in there. We'll bring that power over to here. Dig a hole down there, which is where we'll connect. Another gearbox this side. And I guess we can just stick a vertical gearbox there, can't we? Now, let's get this connected up to mains power. Dill, what are you doing down here? That is you, Dill. What in the world? Well, we can't be having that. Okay, slight diversion. Let's quickly make sure we can get Dill back where he belongs. And then I'll sort out the power. So, Dill, yeah, you should be over here. There we go. Strange horse. At least you're still alive, I guess. Now, where were we? Power. Let's get our brightness turned up as well so we can see what we're doing. And I think if we just sort of dig in this general direction, we should... destroy the terrain above. Not what I intended to do. We'll fix that in a minute. But if we keep digging this way, we should break out into this area. Yep, this looks pretty good. And then we should find some power. Okay, there's power over here. Maybe I should take it from this side. And then we'll go back down here. And then get that connected up. And that should, hopefully... all be powered. And it's going the right way too. Excellent. And then we'll just put a collection chest at the end here. And we're going to need some barriers, otherwise bad things are going to happen. We're going to get burnt. We'll put a funnel with a filter on there to make sure that only the logs come out. We just need to go grab ourselves a little bit of lava. Yoink. And we'll chuck that in there. That should turn all of that into charcoal. There we go, and then we'll just feed all that into there and just put a filter on just in case. And I think I should be sensible and block off the front as well because I'm a very dangerous person and I'm only going to end up in there on fire otherwise, aren't I? Let's be honest. So what we need now is a bowl and a mechanical press, but we don't have any of those. We'll make one in a moment, but I'm thinking we could actually, instead of having this go into a chest here, we could just have it go straight into the bowl. There's no need to sort of store it in between, I guess. So let's go make ourselves a mechanical press. In fact, we're going to need a couple. Then we'll put the mechanical press on there. So that's going to give us coal. And then what we want to do is have that going in there. And then the coal is going to get compressed into coal blocks, which can come out to here. That needs to go into another bowl. But this bowl, we also need to add lava. So let's stick a pipe there for now, preferably facing downwards. Then we'll stick another bowl on top, another funnel in the side, mechanical press on there. Then I actually need one more mechanical press, which is going to go here. Now, let's get these things some power. And what I do want to do is just put a receiving drawer over here. So that's where our diamonds will end up. Now we just need to get some lava over here. So let's just get this connected up. Okay, well, it's flowing. So hopefully, yeah, look at that. We've already got a couple of diamonds. 4, in fact. So let's just quickly feed all this charcoal from earlier back into the system. Yep, look at that. So we're getting charcoal, we're getting coal blocks, and then we're getting diamonds. I like this. And the good thing is, because the tree farm isn't huge, although, yes, it's going to be automated, we're going to be getting diamonds, we're not going to be getting loads and loads of diamonds, but hopefully it'll just be enough to sort out our storage. They don't really have any other purpose. I just really want those upgrades, okay? But now we know the farm's working, we just need to get it looking a little bit better in here. How in the world did I do that? But yeah, it looks a little bit messy. We can probably theme this a little bit, make it look better, and of course I want to sort out the outside too. And then we need to sort out delivery of these diamonds over to the main warehouse as well, which is, I don't know how we're going to do that yet, to be honest. Although thinking about it, the shiny prison-looking truck over there, that one does actually already go to the shiny factory and then drives right past. So we could actually just sort of divert him in here, get him to do another pickup and then reverse out and head back over, but I don't know. We'll sort that out later. But now let's just make this look a bit better. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is stick a funnel on there. We're going to add a filter for birch and for sticks. Stick that on there, create a nice little hole, and then put lava in said hole. There we go. So that's going to basically mean that we've only got logs going through and everything else is just going to drop into lava. Good stuff. Now to sort out the rest of this mess. I started by placing some safety rails, then swapped out the floors inside the barriers with some andesite variants, and added a big pile of coal and another one of diamonds, just for a bit of theming. I filled this nook over here with some crates, and then added in a staircase to upstairs, which is likely forever going to remain unfurnished because I have absolutely no idea what to do with it. It was then time to tackle the greenhouse area, so I swapped out the floor with some dirt variants, and used the framed boards in some places, just so we don't accidentally get saplings planted on them. I then made it more greenhousey by adding some leaves, flowers and vines, as well as some additional lighting. Outside I added a few shipping crates, as always, and a selection of wood piles around the yard. I added some signs around the factory, and then went and made myself a cup of tea to celebrate. But look at this place, this is looking much better. This is extremely foliagey. Is that a word? That's probably not a word, is it? Pretty sure that's not a word. But it's looking much more like a greenhouse in here, which is cool. We've even got one of these, I forget what they're called. A spore blossom, yep, one of those. And that's given us some floaty particles, which is quite nice. And every now and then we even get bees in here, because apparently bees can now sort of spawn on these trees, I think. Because I have put a few flowers in there as well. So yeah, occasionally we get bees, but then they either fly off or die. So yeah, they're not here anymore. Sorry about that. I'm very pleased with how all of that has come out though, and we've got 142 diamonds, which isn't too shabby. The outside's looking pretty good as well, and I particularly like this sign here. I think that's looking very cool. And hopefully we've got enough space to be able to have a truck sort of come in and then reverse up and collect some stuff from a collection point that doesn't actually exist yet, and then be able to drive off and carry on along its way. But I guess that's what we're going to have to find out now. And the first step to that is going to be to go underground and then do some digging, because we need to lay rail in this area here, and well, there's stuff in the way. I've got it all dug out over there, and now I need to play around with rails again. I hate this bit, it always goes wrong. Well, as expected, it's a right mess, but hopefully we've got everything lined up correctly. We just need to go grab ourselves a vehicle and find out. I think it makes sense to test with the correct vehicle, so we'll grab this one. Let's just jump in the seats and see what we're working with. So, does it all fit through here? It's looking good so far. Okay, he makes it into here just fine. So we're smashing up that sign on the way in, but that's okay. We can just move it a few blocks over. We can get into this bit just fine, which is good. And we can rotate around here for the pickup. And hopefully we can get back out onto the main road as well without any problems. Okay, looking good. Ah, don't crash. What I need to do now is just quickly work out some stations. So we'll have a station here for the truck to reverse up to. We need another station as a collection point, which we're probably going to need to fiddle around with to get lined up. And to be honest, I think that's about it. Let's see where this is going to line up. Then our connection point for the storage interface should be there. Yep, look at that. So we'll do what we normally do, and we'll just use some draw trim to get those connected, with a draw controller slave on top, a couple of item drains, and a couple of funnels. And then we'll just connect this one up. And if I add a draw controller here, there we go. You can see them, they've just loaded up into the truck. So let's sort out a schedule. We need to basically add another stop in here. And we need to put one in for the diamond reverse. And hopefully that should do what we want. Then we're good to go. I just need to get myself a new driver. Oh, I found a bee. Don't think we've had a bee driver yet. Come here, you. I'm going to do a quick stakeout over here and just make sure that he keeps up with his deliveries and once again doesn't cause any accidents. Oh, there's been a collision. But wait a minute. I haven't changed their schedules at all. What are you doing? Why in the world have you crashed over here? Don't look at me like that. I've not even changed anything on your schedule. Why are you down here? You don't belong here. Let's try that again, shall we? few in-game days and there's been no further incidents, so I'm happy to leave this as is. Which is awesome because it means for now we are actually done in this area. We will be back in future. We're still going to be needing to transport goods here. We're still going to be processing stuff here. I've got some big plans for what we're actually going to be doing over there. The next episode, we're going to be starting a new adventure, which I'm very much looking forward to. But before we leave this area, there is one more thing I need to do, and that is grab some name tags. Now we just need to find the boat. Once this boat pulls into dock, we'll actually be able to put a name on it, and I do want to say a huge thanks for all the suggestions. There were lots of pop culture references, which I did thoroughly enjoy, but then one popped up right at the end, literally about 10 minutes ago on my feed, and to be honest, I think it has to be done. So a huge thanks to Dalton Davis for the suggestions, but what we're going to be doing is calling the captain Captain Zap Brannigan, and First Mate Kif Croker, which is of course a reference to Futurama, a show I loved when I was growing up. Plus with this kind of driving, I think the name is definitely fitting. And once the boat pulls in, that will of course be called Nimbus. Oh, here we go, it's here. And there we go, Nimbus. Well, that's that job done, but sadly that is all we've got time for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.